Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I know a lot of you guys are waiting to see this video, so I'm not going to talk too much. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown, and we're going to go straight to the footage of me starting this thing, getting it out of the driveway and driving it, and maybe a little more than that. So here's the deal, guys. Those of you on the group page, the Facebook Bad Luck Garage Facebook group page, you already know I had a completely crap day Sunday with this car. I was frustrated. That's why I didn't get another video out of the engine running and revving and the first drive and everything. That's what this video is going to be. I could go into detail. If you're on the group page, you already know what happened. I'll just say that. If not, I'll probably go into a little detail, not too much, but for now, I want to go ahead and let you guys see the video of me starting this thing, backing out of the garage, taking it down the road, and just kind of cruising it around and letting the Holly do its thing. We're just going to put all that up front, because if you guys are like me, you get sick of videos where they save the money shot for the end of the freaking video. So we'll do the money shot first. If you guys are interested in what happened Sunday and everything that I've done to this car over the last week, I'll discuss that afterward. So here's the part where I shut up and roll the footage. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Hell yes. Alright guys, we're going to take this thing to the gas station, get some gas. I got my youngest daughter, Miss Haley, over here recording, so. As far as I know, there's only about 2 gallons of gas in this thing. Yeah, the steering's definitely hard. It gets up and goes. I guess I should be taking it easy on it and letting the Holly do its thing, but I just can't resist it. I also keep forgetting that I have to shift it myself. I hope we got enough gas to even make it to the gas station. You having trouble holding the camera there, Haley?
A little bit.
guys, it's really not bad at idle and just cruising like this, but when I get on it, it gets freaking loud. All right, we're gonna try a little something for Mr. Scotty Ham, the leader of Shitbox Nation. That was for you, Scotty. Stickers off the drag radials. That's how you do it, Haley. Got a miss over here, guys. I don't know if you can hear it. I'm pretty sure it's that number one coil there that's all beat up and loose, but we got some coils coming. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, guys, but check it out. Like, all the stainless is turning gold already, which I'm kind of digging, to be honest. Actually, the tip is even starting to turn a little. The only thing that's not turning yet is the resonators, because they haven't gotten hot enough. But we'll take care of that once we start pumping the nitrous at it. All right, I don't think I have to tell you guys, I'm ecstatic right now. We've had this car sitting here for what, 5 months, maybe a little longer, and to finally get to drive it is something else. I will say I am questioning myself on the no power steering thing, so you may see me doing something with that in the future. I thought about doing an S10 manual steering rack, but keep in mind too, right now I still have the full size tires on the front, so with the skinnies it wouldn't be quite as bad. The problem is I still have the rag joint in there, so there's a lot of flex to the steering because there's no power steering and the rag joint is under so much stress. I am, you know, whether or not I put power steering back on this car, I am planning on upgrading the steering shaft and getting rid of that rag joint. So anyway, what happened Sunday? Guys, Sunday was one of those days where everything that could go wrong just went wrong. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown. Try not to make it too long because I want to get this video uploaded tonight so you guys can watch it tonight. Basically what happened, I told you guys in the last video I was going to do the fuel pump. Sorry about that, guys. I just realized the dryer was still running, so sorry about the background noise. But anyway, so I told you guys in the last video that over the weekend I was going to do the fuel pump. I was going to try to diagnose whether it was an injector or coil or whatever causing the misfire. And I do want to say this, guys, in the video footage you just watched, this thing still has an intermediate miss. It's technically running on 7 cylinders, so I can't wait to drive it on all 8. We've got coils coming this weekend thanks to Phil Bethauser. He actually sold me a couple Walbro pumps that are going to be going probably in a surge tank in the future, and he threw in some used truck coils, so big shout out to Phil for that. that stuff's supposed to be here in the next 2 days. Hopefully we can get this thing running on all 8, but I was supposed to do all that. I also had to finish bending and getting the transmission lines connected up. Trying to think of what all else I had to do. Anyway, guys, nothing went right Sunday. So I got up Sunday. I came out here. I went to drop the tank. You know, I thought I had, and you guys are already going to know where this is going. I thought I had 1/8 of a tank of gas because that's what my fuel gauge read. So obviously I found out that my fuel sending unit is indeed bad, because when I went to drop the tank, this is where all the shit started going downhill. When I dropped the tank, I had one hand up on the tank. I took the first strap loose, you know, with my impact. I reached across, took the second strap loose. The tank just fell because I could not hold it up with my hand. Turns out the tank was almost freaking full. Well, when it fell on me, it also managed to pull the freaking return line loose, which shot fuel straight into my left eye. And to make matters worse, because the fuel line was lower than the level of the tank, it had a siphon effect. So the fuel just kept pouring out of that return line, you know, and it was dumping all over my head, all over my face. It was horrible, guys, because I was pinned under the tank. Because if you guys have taken the tank out of these cars, you know, in order to get it out, where the fuel filler neck goes in, that's what it was hung on. You have to like physically twist the tank and then drop the passenger side and then lift the driver's side, and you know, to get the fuel neck out. Well, I was trying to do that by myself with one hand, gasoline dumping on my face, my left eye burning, and with what I later found out to be over 11 gallons of gas in the tank. So you can imagine that whole process was probably pretty comical. To make matters worse, the wife and kids were gone at the time, so I couldn't yell for help or nothing. I was just freaking stuck. So I finally get the tank out, and immediately I realized, great, I've got a bad sending unit. I kind of suspected it. But what got me is after I redid the wiring, the gauge went from buried at full to showing like 1/8 of a tank. So I thought, hell, maybe it was just a bad ground or something and it was working. But apparently now I know that was not the case. The sending unit was gone. So I start calling around because, you know, I'm wanting to put this Walbro, or it's not a Walbro, I'm sorry, it's a Amazon Oasis 340 pump that I put in the tank, because I promised Zane, my buddy Zane Hobbs, that I would test it for him. So I'm wanting to put it in there, but I would kind of like to know how much gas is in my damn tank. So I'm calling everywhere. The cheapest sending unit I could find local was $220. And I'm like, I'm not paying $220. I can get one online for 80 bucks. Screw all that. So I got frustrated, and I finally just slapped the you know, the new pump into the old non-functioning sending unit, stuck it back in the tank. I siphoned all the gas out, and like I said, guys, I got over 11 gallons of gas out of that tank. As a matter of fact, I was giving away jugs of it to the neighbors to put in their cars because I didn't have enough jugs to hold it all. So, you know, I hollered at the neighbor down the road that does lawn care, and I'm like, hey man, you want to come dump some of this gas in your mowers, you know, because it was 93 octane. You know, it was 5-month-old gas, but it was 93 octane, and it looked great. It smelled fine. So, you know, as a matter of fact, I even put some of it in the Avalanche. I ended up putting about 4 gallons in there. But anyway, so I got all that done. I'm still covered in gasoline, guys. At this point, it's been hours. And, you know, so the frustration started there. So I get the tank thrown back in the car, get everything hooked up, you know, raise the axle back up. Yeah, if you guys don't know, you have to drop the rear axle to get the tank out of these cars. So I got all that bolted back together. At this point, I had about 5 hours, maybe 6 hours in it already because of everything just going haywire. So I decided to move on to the front of the car and try to figure out the situation, you know, with the dead miss in cylinder number 1. You know, is it the injector, is it the coil, whatever. Well, I had went to Harbor Freight and bought a set of these. which is something that I've actually always wanted. I just never wanted to spend the money on until now. But it's a Noid light kit to test your fuel injector harness to see if the computer's sending a signal. Well, I pulled the connector off of the number 1 injector, and I went to plug the Noid in, and the freaking pin breaks off the Noid. Like brand new set. It just blink, just breaks off into the harness. And I'm like, fuck. You know, because I can't test it, obviously, with 1 pin in. So I get a little frustrated, and I went ahead and I'm like, you know what? So I can't test that, but I can probably test the injector when the wife gets home, because I've got my China Boy injector cleaning kit here, $5 cleaning kit. So I decided to move on and test the coil to see if the coil was firing. So I plug in, well, I don't have it because I got pissed and threw it away. But I had one of those little spark checkers, you know, that you plug into the spark plug wire and plug the other end onto your spark plug. And when the coil fires, it should light up the light inside. Well, I'm cranking the engine over and no light's coming on. I'm like, well, let me check this and make sure this thing's working. Now, keep in mind, guys, I've had this spark checker for years. You know, this ain't a cheap Harbor Freight one. Like, this is one I bought like 20 years ago, and I've used it dozens and dozens of times. So I move it over to the next coil, still nothing, no light. Move it to a third coil, no light. Take it to the back of the car, hook a positive and negative battery cable to it, find out it's toast. All right, so I'm still covered in gasoline. I've got just crap caked all in my hair, all over my body, which is why there's no video footage of it, because I got so pissed off halfway through the tank dropping process, I stopped filming, guys. I said, screw it. I deleted all that footage that I had up till that point. I'm like, we are not recording this. I'm too frustrated. But I'm telling you about it now. So I'm thinking at this point, you know, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. You know, I'll plug a spark plug into the wire, leave the spark plug hanging where it can arc off the side of the block or something, and crank it and check it. But before I had a chance to do that, the wife and kids rolled back in. So I had her help me with my little injector test. So I pulled the number 1 injector out. We go to the back of the car where I've got battery power, because that's what this harness uses. And the idea is the injector pops in to this little plastic guy here, and it goes on top of a can of fuel injector cleaner. Well, you press it down to pressurize the injector, and you touch the positive and negative to a 12-volt source. It opens the injector and it shoots carburetor cleaner through it to clean it out. Well, in my case, I was just doing it to test and see if that injector was actually working. So here's what happens. Following the trend of the rest of the day, I spray the carburetor cleaner, wife hits the positive and negative terminals, injector starts spraying. I'm like, great. And no sooner do I get great out of my mouth, the injector pops out, sprays me in the damn right eye with fuel injector cleaner. So now I've got fuel in my left eye from earlier and fuel injector cleaner on my face and my right eye. And guys, it just didn't get any better. Like, I'm just gonna leave it there. But basically what happened was I got pissed off right then. I said, you know what, I'm done with this freaking car for the night. I'll fool with it tomorrow, which was Memorial Day. And I got up on Memorial Day. I've got a little tradition I do. My dad was a veteran, so every year on Memorial Day, we go get an American flag. We go put it on his grave. So we went, got our American flag, went to the cemetery, put it on Pop's grave, and we came back to cook some steaks and stuff. And I was, while the wife was cooking, I was going to come out here and mess with this car some more. Well, basically, I was still so frustrated from the night before. I stepped out into the garage. I stared at the car for a second. I flipped the car off. I went to the store, got beer, came back home, and I drank and ate steak, and that was the end of it. So, but for those of you who were wondering, that's the story of what happened Sunday and why you're not seeing a video until, what, almost a week after the last video. So sorry about that, guys, but I appreciate you sticking in. Hopefully this video kind of made up for it. Now, I want to go in here and get this all edited, get it uploaded so you guys can see it. Before I go though, I want to give some shout outs. I want to give a huge shout out to Josh Watson, Phil Betthauser, and Zane Hobbs, because guys, without these three people, I'm sure you guys have noticed, these guys have been sending me parts. I've been trying to pay them as much as I can, but they've donated a lot of parts. Some stuff they've just sold me dirt cheap, and the honest to God truth is, without those guys, this car wouldn't be running right now, because I would probably still be 4, 5, maybe 6 paychecks away from having this car run and having all the parts I needed. So big shout out to those guys. Couldn't have done it without you. Big shout out to my sponsor, LSX Innovations, for sending me the brackets and everything. Yeah, I'm really happy, guys. I'm really happy to finally have this thing running. I realize this is the 4th, technically it's the 5th project car on the channel, but one of them we don't talk about anymore, and it's no longer on the channel. But this is the 4th project car that's on the channel. But this car it's exactly what I wanted to do, guys. So it's kind of a little different. Like I've explained before, I'm kind of sentimental with these 3rd gen Camaros. I've owned a lot of them, and it just feels really good to have this one, to have it running again, and to be so close to going to the drag strip and getting some numbers, and we're just going to start stacking, guys. We're going to do NA. We're going to run it NA and just see what this bone stock 5.3 will do. NA, we're going to throw some nitrous at it. We're going to throw some more nitrous at it. We're going to throw twin turbos at it. And we may even throw something at it after that. You'll just have to stick around and see. But once again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks again to those 3 guys that I mentioned and my sponsor, LSX Innovations. Now, I'm going to go in here, edit this video. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe, click that thumbs up button, and when you're done watching it, get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.